Yo, what's up, guys? So, I just wanted to quickly make this video because if you are stuck with your agency, your coaching business, your consulting business, or maybe your service-based business, I'll break down why that is in this video and how you can solve for it, okay? Now, if you guys haven't seen me before or my case studies or anything about me or my business or what I do, this is just a quick intro to it. Now, I'm not going to read through it. You can just pause this video and read through my credentials, what I've done, why I do what I do, and why I'm making this video. Now, here is basically the focus of this all, like everything. It explains everything. Now, you have to understand, before I break down the systems and everything that you have to input into your business and your agency or whatever type of business you run, you have to understand that you have to track for these 5 components within your business: leads, appointments, shows, closes, and average cash collected. Now, the reason for this is because once you start tracking these numbers, it will give you a true insight as to where the true bottleneck within your business is. And it's not guesswork anymore, right? So many business owners make the mistake of thinking it's a closing issue or maybe a show rate issue, when in fact it's actually a leads and appointments issue, which is the reason for them not hitting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K a month, 100K a month, whatever they're looking to hit. So the most important thing that you have to understand is you have to track all of these 5 different components within your business so that you can scale it predictably and you can solve for the right bottleneck, right? So for leads, obviously it's an acquisition issue. So are you using enough platforms and enough acquisition channels? For appointments, are you nurturing your prospects, and are your prospects seeing enough value on the front end in terms of your offer to book an appointment with you, right? Shows, are people in the nurture process, once they've booked in a call, are they getting enough value? Are you being positioned as an authority? Are you keeping yourself top of mind until the call actually happens? Closing, are you actually inciting enough pain and providing enough value on the call for them to see the value and understand that you are the person that's going to take them from point A to point B, and an average cash collected is just solely tied to your pricing and your offer, okay? So this is what you can do to refine for all of these different 5 components, okay? Now, moving on to the systems. One mistake that I see so many other business owners, agency owners, coaches, consultants make is they feel stuck and they plateau at 5 to 10K a month, maybe 15, 20K a month, or whatever your number you're at. You will feel stuck because a lot of businesses, they only leverage 1, 2, or maybe maximum 3 of these platforms, but not to the full extent, right? And so it's limiting because you are not maximizing the amount of leads, prospects, and appointments that you can start generating for your business on a consistent and reliable basis. Whereas if you were to plug in and figure out all of these different platforms for your acquisition to get enough leads and appointments on a consistent basis where you're closing clients every single day or week, right? You wouldn't be where you are right now. You'd be at 10, 20, whatever the revenue mark or revenue goal you're looking to hit right now, you'd already be there because you're not limiting yourself. So you're not limiting yourself when it comes to acquisition. So the most important thing that you want to do here is install as many platforms of acquisition and install as many systems within your business so that you can not just limit yourself, but just maximize the amount of leads and appointments that come in your business, right? Because I kind of think of it as like a faucet, right? Once you turn on the faucet, it's just an insane amount of leads and appointments coming in, right? Now, this brings me to my next thing. And by the way, just to confirm, these are just rough guidelines. You don't actually have to follow this every day. And the other thing you have to understand is you don't have to use all of these acquisition platforms on my screen. This is just an example. You want to tailor the acquisition systems to your audience, to your niche that you're targeting, right? So wherever your niche and your audience are most active on, those are the platforms that you should be targeting for your acquisition. Now, in terms of the sales process and everything, right? Most of my clients and a lot of the people that I work with, they like to redirect a lot of their leads to a lead form in a calendar, something like that. Then the prospect books in a call and then they close them. But here's the issue. A lot of businesses, and I think you might be experiencing this right now too, is that in between the moment that a prospect hops on a call and then you close them, it usually takes you an hour or two and tons of objections, right, and tons of back and forth to finally close that prospect on your high ticket service, right? And that's the issue because you only have so much time and you should only be speaking to highly qualified leads for your business. Because at the end of the day, the higher quality client, the higher quality service you will provide. That usually is what happens within business most of the time, right? And so the issue here is that you are spending so much time trying to close a lead that can only pay you 2K and they don't even trust you fully. And then they're probably going to churn and they must have, buyer's remorse, maybe like 3 hours after buying, right? So you don't want to close those types of prospects. You don't want to deal with those types of prospects. And what you want to do instead is you want to start taking sales calls and start getting PIFs or split pays or just deals closed within 15 to 30 minutes. And how do you do that? By building trust and pre-selling your audience. Now, how do we do that, right? Just for full transparency, I help businesses do this. I help them install acquisition and obviously the sales process. But how do we do this, right? Well, we use a combination of these different mechanisms, right? So you can use GoHighLevel or Calendly as your booking system. And then you have GoHighLevel, YouTube, Zapier, and case studies to basically nurture your audience, right? But what does that nurture look like? Well, usually what you want to do is to have 3 to 7 touch points that convey authority and show expertise. And not just that, but they provide solutions. Now, this brings me to another mistake that a lot of business owners and agency owners and so on, like all of them make this. 99% of people make this. They gatekeep. They gatekeep information, secrets, all of this stuff because they don't want to devalue their service. But that's actually creating the opposite effect. What it's doing is it's just preventing you from pre-selling your audience and providing value on the front end, right? So what you want to do instead is give out all the information for free. Give out all of the secrets. Give out everything that you know, right? Give out your mind, right? Provide solutions throughout your sales process and then sell the implementation instead. So on the sales call, right? Sell the implementation, but before it, provide all the solutions so that the prospect already knows the process behind it, right? And it just provides so much more value. And it positions you as the sort of as the provider of the systems, right? Or the provider of the content or whatever your deliverable service is. And it just makes life easier for you because now, it's very clear as to where you can come into this and they can see the value, right? And it's not confusing at all. Now, the final thing that's going to help you pre-sell your audience are pre-selling, authority building, and value-based pieces of content within your sales process in the 3 to 7 touch points. So what you want to make is very clearly scripted and framed pieces of content that help you provide as much value as possible while also positioning you as an authority within your market. Okay, so for example, I leverage these videos within my automations and my sales process, and I've used this before obviously, to help me pre-sell my prospects before the sales call so that they understand everything and all of the components that I like to use and they have all the value on the front end to then hop on the sales call and say, hey bro, honestly, the stuff that you've been sending is super valuable. And it positions me as the sort of as the friendly helper, as the person that's not afraid to provide value, right? And then from there, it just makes them want to work with me 10 times more. So the way that you want to reduce your sales calls to 15 to 30 minutes so that you can generate more appointments and more leads for your business and actually handle all of that traffic and close more clients and scale to whatever mark you're looking to get to is simply by building an acquisition ecosystem where you have tons and tons and tons and tons of platforms that are just generating leads and appointments for you every single day on a consistent basis. And you have a nurture ecosystem that positions you as an authority, provides value, and shows your expertise while also providing solutions to your audience and selling the implementation on the back end when you take the sales call. And that way, you can reduce your sales calls to 15 to 30 minutes, get a pay in full, split pay, and then end up closing that call. Now, here's a funny fact, or an interesting fact that you may not have known before prior to watching this video. Now, I actually did an entire analysis across all of my clients in terms of this type of sales process and inputting this within a business. Now, what we found is that you have 3 types of buyers, right? You have buyer 1, who is someone that knows nothing about you on the sales call. When they join, they don't know anything about your offer, your business, and it just increases the sales call length. That prospect value is usually around $100, right? Now, buyer 2 is someone who knows something about you. They've watched maybe a video of yours, they've consumed some content, maybe read up on a case study of yours or something, but they still have questions. They're sure curious, right? They don't know everything. Their value is around $300, right? So that's, starting to approach a solid range. But buyer 3 is the person that's consumed minimum 3 hours of your content and positioned you as an authority and sort of like the value provider within their mind. Their prospect value is $3,000. Now, what's the big difference here? Well, we've just jumped by 10x. You've increased your prospect value by 10 times simply because your prospect has watched 3+ hours of your content or case studies before jumping on the call with you. Right? Isn't that crazy? Well, the way that you do this is by simply setting the system up. As long as you set the system up in place and you have enough content to share with your prospects, it'll increase their prospect value and increase the chances of you actually closing that deal. And that way, like I said, you are ensuring that you can take 15 to 30-minute sales calls and you get a PIF or split pay at the end of it. Right? Now, you might have some questions about this and like, well, has the system actually worked? Well, here's some results, right? These are my actual clients. You have Orion. He cash collected over $230,000 in 273 days, 9 months. Eric, 26K in 40 days, right? And that's recurring revenue, 26K and monthly recurring revenue. Billy, 36 qualified appointments in 30 days. You have Isaac, 23K a month by simply installing as many acquisition systems within his business. And then from there, he scaled past the 20K a month mark. You have Fahad, he closed 5K worth of deals in the first 14 days of launching these systems. Then you have Bo, who I think he cash collected 70K for his agency on behalf of his client. And then finally, Harvey, over 20K closed in less than 60 days. Now, I can continue going through these case studies, right? I have so much more I can share with you guys. I'll literally I'll leave a link below in the description of this video that goes to my case studies folder, right? You can go through all of it. But I think you get the point. The whole, goal of this system and what you should be prioritizing for implementing within your business is this type of system where you are not only creating kind of like a faucet of just lead flow and appointment flow and just increasing the amount of people that come into your business every single day and booking a call with you, right, to speak with you, but you're also streamlining your sales process and creating something that positions you as an authority, builds value, and builds trust. And the more trust you can build with your prospect, the more money you will make. It's just that simple. So if you want to scale to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100K a month, whatever you're looking to hit, right? Implement these systems. Multiple channels of acquisition and a streamlined sales process. And by the way, I just happen to do this with my team as well. So if you have some trouble to do this, or you don't have the right systems or softwares or automations to put these types of systems into place, and you don't even know the frameworks for understanding how to get leads and appointments from these types of systems, then literally just click the first link in the description of this video and you can schedule a call with me and my team, right? It's just that simple. But I hope you found this video valuable regardless. And remember, track for these 5 key components while you implement these systems, because that way you can solve for the true bottleneck within your business. I hope you found this video valuable, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.